not going nowhere. Never. Whoa, what do you know? The song won't make it on the radio. Cause the shit's too hard, and the world's so soft. Oh my god, I'm so offended. I'm not that great at math, but the song might cut my fan base in half. So hard, and the world's so soft. Oh my god, I'm so offended. So offended. Oh my god, I'm so offended. I'm so offended. Oh my god, I'm so offended.
Fucking right, yeah. Finally got this shit together. Okay.
Good job, mister.
It took
I like your
way too
intro.
fucking long. Speaking of Alice, if you want a video on there, let me know and we'll get one together.
I just realized I forgot to ever record one for you when you asked for it.
That's okay. I was like, yeah, they'll get it when they get it. It used to have a slide in there that was like the other assholes haven't sent one yet. But welcome to Munch. For all that aren't aware, a Munch is where, let's call us abnormal people, get together. Different people. Kinky, polyamorous, nerd groups, all the most fun people in life get together and kind of have a general discussion.
In a not so kink related setting, in a casual setting. And that's what this is.
I am Mister. I do this shit every week. I'm sure you're tired of me already. But we've got like 50 more years to go. So suck it up, Buttercup. And to my right, we have...
That's right. She's antsy.
Oh, we got the antsy dance over here.
I just wanted to say that a good description for what a munch is, it's a group of like-minded niche individuals.
Or niche.
Yeah,
I was about to say.
I said it wrong, but you know what I meant.
No, you said it like a lot of people say it. That's one of those words.
Isn't it an American-European thing? Like one of those kind of things? Americans say niche because it's like the niches are in the riches. Or the riches are in the niches. For most influencers is how it's been, like the phrase.
I don't know.
Aside from the one word, you got the damn point.
I laugh.
Absolutely.
And okay, to my right.
Hi, I'm Juniper Jen. Hi. I run the juniperjen.com, and I have a lot of really fun kinky accessories. I make handcrafted vloggers, and I love what I do, and I love all of you.
And bottoming tonight is Alice.
Hi, I'm Alice. I run a nonprofit to help trans people get out of crisis and get access to care, and I shitpost on Facebook too often.
That's the best. Well, I'm sorry you're not feeling it tonight, Mom. Well, good job.
Well, I've had an energy drink that they lost the fight with.
Oh, weak. That's bedtime juice. Speaking of, I had one before we got even started tonight. So,
One.
Well, I had 4 today, which is good. I did good. I only had 4.
My Vyvanse dose got kicked up, so I have to minimize the caffeine, so I'm not necking energy drinks all day anymore, and it's weird. And I'm more productive without them.
Probably would help me too, but
Right. Introduce yourself.
I was just waiting. I heard that thought, by the way. Damn it, I lost my whole train of thought. I'm Ray Ray, and that's my name. Yeah, that's all I got today. Moving forward.
You want me to introduce you? Ray Ray is the mother of the year, and kinky when the kids are in bed sleeping.
or not there.
Is that a good description? That's good.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
Yeah,
That's there.
or gone.
Ray Ray also has Ray Ray's Corner, where she makes and sells kick-ass paintings. Find her on Facebook. I'm not sure where else.
Just Facebook for now.
I don't know how I got squirrel brain. I thought you introduced yourself because I was over here doing other shit, and then I was just okay.
Mr. Our squirrel brain synced up because I also thought Ray did.
No, Ray just helped fill in much details.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
It's been a good weekend. Hope it's a good week. We're gonna talk about kink today.
It's all
I'm
Kink 101.
excited. My
So what I
brain's
will
been going
say
wild.
is we're going to kind of gloss over BDSM because we've done the BDSM 101 thing. It's an episode prior that people can watch. I'll probably like re-upload it so they can have a reference if they'd like. But yeah. Also, so we don't spend 30 minutes on this. Communicate with your partner. Consent to the things you do. Set boundaries and don't let anybody cross them. Or there's half the show. We did it.
Educated kink is safer kink. Learn what you're doing before you try to do it.
Absolutely. And no fire play if you electro play can be fun though. But so a lot of people interchange the words kink, fetish, and BDSM. My trash was distracting me. Oh, okay. But a lot of people interchange those words, and most that are in the community kind of know that they become interchangeable. It's only when we talk about the nuance of things when we understand what somebody means.
Oh, are we talking about kinks and fetishes?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my brain squirreled too, y'all. My bad.
The old joke is
But yeah.
Being kinky is using a feather, and fetishes use the whole chicken.
Well, isn't it fetish is the has to happen to be able to be pleased, and then a kink is a sometimes add to the mix. Enjoy.
Almost exactly right. Kink can be always. It doesn't the difference is if it's a requirement. So like a fetish is something that has to happen for a good scene or an orgasm or whatever the end goal is, and then a kink is just something you enjoy adding in.
Oh. Very nice.
Night, love. Sweet dreams.
Sweetest of dreams.
Good night, love.
Feel
Thanks
better.
for being here. I am munching like crazy. On munch. It's appropriate. So like I said, we're kind of glossing over the BDSM. Anybody want to take the acronym away? Go for it.
Bondage, domination, submission, and masochism, if I recall correctly. Or it's either that or sadism and masochism.
So it's actually the words, a lot of times the letters have double meaning. There's bondage, discipline, dominance, submission, sadism, and masochism. So, well, the D and S. No, I'm not getting into the semantics of it. But
we totally did get into the semantics of it already.
And like I said, that episode will be up later.
Yeah.
But one of the most common kinks that people consider when they think of it, especially people that are either new to it or want to learn about it, impact play.
Spank me, daddy. Got a hard gulp at everybody.
About choked on my apple pie there.
I just about had Dr. Pepper come out my nose.
I'm fortunate I didn't already have anything in my mouth.
So impact play. I'll let you take that one.
Ooh.
That's your whole fucking business.
Impact play and sensation play. That's my whole business. Impact play being spanked or impacted or flogged. Oh my God, get out of here. Or flogged in the right. There's lots of tools you can use.
See?
Floggers, canes.
It's not flogger you got there.
Paddles.
Thanks. I got it from Juniper Jen's store.
That green is popping. Oh.
I see that paddle, Ray.
I love y'all.
That's a discontinued product at the moment.
Still fun.
But all of these fun tools can be used for both the impact play or the sensation play.
So, like, let's talk general spanking.
What do you mean? I don't know what to talk about general spanking. It is exactly what it is. Go ahead. What do we got for me?
Mister, would you mind pulling up? There's a chart of safe impact zones for impact
Don't
play.
think, man.
I don't know how to pull that up directly because I don't have it on this computer.
Aw, shucks.
Here, I'll see if I can find the link.
It's on our Canva.
Hold up.
Under Spankman as well. So it might not be hard for you to find.
Rather than just thinking of spanking, impact is the act of using anything to strike the body during sexual play.
Doesn't have to be sexual.
During play.
There you go.
Sorry.
It can. These types of plays can be not sexual at all. They can just be I want to call it like a therapy session.
You are
Where that's all that happens is some fun impact, flogging, paddling, fun times. It's just you and I that get really juicy when that happens, and it usually leads to more. Well, not just you and I, but you know.
It is the aspect that is most closely associated with my own personal practices.
There you go. What a professional way to put that.
Sounds better than that's the one I like the most.
Oh no, we can't find Spankman.
Oh, we can.
Well, he's
I dropped the link in the private chat
Oh, okay.
for a chart.
So, side note with spanking, like, what would you guys recommend is a good way if you're looking to find what your limit is? Like, how would you recommend going about that safely?
Depends on what kind of limit you're exploring. I know some people that I know IRL have gotten really hurt because they wanted like a harder impact and went with more weight. And like at one point in time, one of them was using steel dowels that wasn't me and did not use them well. A few of them are like, if you're looking for like a harder blunt impact, then like try different materials before you necessarily try heavier versions of the same materials to get one that you find that has the amount of give you're looking for, and then make that heavier.
So a little thing on the materials part is to make sure also you're not allergic to the materials that your toy is made out of, because that can be a horrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
You guys.
I was just curious, like that's kind of part of where I'm at with my journey, is trying to discover what my limits are for impact, because all of my partners end up tapping out before I do.
Oh God, I know that feeling. Back when I worked at the dungeon, I've told this story before, but back when I worked at the dungeon, I had a guy who used to tie me up in barbed wire, and he'd cane me with different like dowels. It's a great time. Where'd our hosts go?
Oh no.
Those were great thoughts we just missed.
Your internet shit itself again?
Yeah, it's fucking.
Hey, put me back on.
Things were correct when Ray and I swapped places.
Boom.
There we go.
There we go.
That's all right. It cut out when I was drooling, so we're good.
Oh, okay. So I will do the share screen real quick. I think my
share. So what he's about to share is our safe zones and not safe zones with impact play. Certain areas of your body, your veins and sensitive parts are closer to the skin, like your cracks and crevices. You should always avoid those. I think there's a more technical term for like your armpit areas. This is not your
Joints.
armpit. What is this called?
The
That's your
joint.
elbow.
This
That's your
part. Of
elbow.
this part
Your
of
elbow.
it. My
That's
elbow
the
crack.
That's the inside of your joint.
But on the back of your knee too, back there is a very dangerous area for any impact play to happen.
I mean, one thing I always get hung up on is everybody says any. Floggers are probably not going to do much damage back there. Unless you're like absolutely beating shit out of
Unless you've
somebody.
got beads and spikes attached to your floggers, like some of the floggers I've sent out, I wouldn't recommend. You generally want to stay away from your neck area.
Mm-hmm.
It feels really nice to be tickled and stuff there. So, but we're not talking about tickling yet.
So
Not yet.
if you look at this particular one, the only reason I don't like it is because it generalizes too much impact play. You know, I mean, there's different implements you can use that are softer and all that stuff. But for the most part, these spots that are green are your safer zones. These yellow spots are low risk, so you're looking at like your breasts, your calves, your inner thigh, and even looks like the genital area, hands. So your high risk zone, which harder impacts can do damage. Of course, you want to avoid the spine at any solid consistency of an impact weapon or a toy, not a weapon.
I mean, some of them.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So like floggers are generally safe everywhere. Watch the face. Paddles, I would say you tend to keep on the buttocks, the thighs, the legs. Avoid the joints. Canes, I would say anywhere from the butt to the top of the knee is about the safest places to go, besides your hands and bottom of your feet, which is one that isn't included here. Never thought about that. It's not included on this.
The feet are colored.
I guess it's implied, but like the bottom of your feet.
Oh.
And I would imagine with a lot of nerve endings there, that would be.
So getting caned on the bottom of your feet is fun during, and if you're also a masochist, it ends up hurting to walk, and it can be a real interesting layer to add to that pain play.
Oh.
I'm good on that one. I'm not a masochist at all. I can handle pain, but I'm good on it. Like I don't have to have it. I don't want it.
I like the slappy flog feeling on my feet, not any canes. Woo.
What I find weird is the head isn't colored pink.
Face.
Those areas for impact sound very dangerous. Especially like, so if you look at like MMA and boxing and stuff like that, hits to the back of the head are absolutely illegal. You can separate somebody's brain stem or what, the spinal cord from the brain.
And ideally you shouldn't probably be hitting someone as hard as someone in MMA is getting punched.
No.
Ideally.
Thank you for pointing that one out.
I mean, that depends on what the people involved are into and what area.
Yeah.
You can adjust it to make it hurt more without introducing that much more force.
Unless you're both like, that's your foreplay as an MMA fight.
I mean, I have legitimately I have actually full on wrestled like Krav Maga sparring with people as foreplay before. It's a great time.
I bet so.
I would personally recommend if you're going to be using that much force, keep it to the green zones.
Absolutely. Hi, Jason. Just now saw you up there. Hopefully you're still
Hi,
here.
Jason.
So yeah, that's like a general safety. If you want to look it up, impact play safety zones. Jen has one we've recolored and it covers pretty much the same general concept. So if you want a pretty one, we can get you one. Let's see.
Or you can just Google it.
Next.
Right there at your fingertips.
Which one do I want to
What
pull
else is at our
next?
fingertips? Oh, you're showing more.
There we go. Okay.
Thought we weren't going to talk about. Oh, I guess spanking is allowed.
The implements. I know this isn't a clear one. I try to take too much time. A spanking implement is only as hard or as gentle as you wield it. There are many factors to take into consideration. Everyone has their own pain tolerance levels and strengths. So this kind of gives you an idea of how things feel. The implement is over here, from hands to shoes, canes, floggers, crops. Oh, I don't remember what those are called, but those things are so cool to see.
Which one?
It's like hold on, let me see if I can.
Flappy Jack.
This one right here. That thing does.
Mouse on the screen?
I don't know. You guys see my mouse, right?
No.
No.
Oh,
No.
okay. So it's the third one up from the bottom.
It's
So
the
it's
10.5.
Oh.
So the way that one works, it's almost like having two rulers. They're usually leather, but the way they come together,
Will pinch you in your buttocks.
absolutely pinch the shit out of you wherever you get hit, at the same time as getting impact.
Ooh.
Right? The second,
Interesting.
right? I can't remember where I saw one of those at. I think it was just like in an adult store. The second line is your sting, which is, the average, I guess, the average person would call these as a baseline of sting. I don't think ruler should be a 3 and flogger should be a 9.
Right?
I think that's definitely not correct there.
I guess it just,
It depends on how it's being wielded.
Right.
I guarantee you I could make a ruler be much higher than a 3.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Break that ruler.
Paddles, 6.
Yeah.
Okay,
What,
for the sake of this
floggers
chart,
are
we're
9?
using a base of 6 swats on a bare bottom at full strength. Holy shit, what kind of fucking masochist made this?
So these are fun too. This is just a paint
Yeah, that's-
stick, but this is a cool paint stick from
So what this chart is saying is this piece right here, 6 swats on your ass at full strength would only be a 3.
Ooh, no sir, thank you, sir.
Might need to get a
I mean-
updated chart.
I mean, that probably wouldn't survive full strength more than 1 or 2 swats. So
Hmm.
So the implements chart, we're just gonna toss that out. I don't like it anymore. That's shit.
But it does have very good advice on it. Solid.
Now this is one I thought was cool. While we're still on the impact stuff, the spanking position severity chart. They call it the Arkham scale. 1 to 10, obviously, it's a decent range of have we started yet, and that gets to your, 4 is toes wiggling, 6 is flinching and gasping with each swat, 8's legs kicking and wiggling with whimpering and sniffling, and then 10 is full on crying with begging.
I haven't had 10 in a long time.
I'm pretty sure my fucking mouse died. This is not a good time right now.
The mouse died and it's stuck on the screen.
Yep. So,
Do you have another mouse?
no, I just need to plug in, honestly.
This?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, wrong one. Shit. You guys carry on. This is going smoothly.
I don't think I've ever had a 10.
So a thought that I had while y'all were talking earlier, another reason why those areas can be dangerous areas is because you have thin skin there, and it's easier for it to be penetrated or broken. And that's not always. Sometimes it's the intention, but that's not always the intention with having a good spank session, is to come out bleeding.
Yeah.
The day is saved. I found my 1995 mouse.
Ray, the
What?
last 10 I had, there was a lady at the dungeon I worked with who had like chainmail gloves
Oh,
and like the position there that's 6 there with the chainmail gloves.
oh, diaper position.
Oof.
Who's Arkham?
Mm-mm.
I need to know more about this.
Does that have anything to do with Batman? Is Batman into a little bit of spanking?
What did you do to this pen?
Oh no, I got that one. It was probably like
I'm back. I went on a little vacation there.
that. You're
What's
not
his name again?
Arkham.
A-R-K Ham.
There you go. All right, so this is more about the positions more than the implements. It even says so at the bottom note that the spanking position rating does not account for the implements used. The Arkham scale is used here to rate the potential pain of positions being spanked in based off of biology and physics, not implement nor length of spanking.
Yeah, if you take the time to read these little
Yeah.
things, they're pretty interesting.
So that's
actually.
the Arkham scale, and I'm
I'm
going to
sure
throw
you
that.
already have with all our bullshitting.
But the diaper position is maxed out. And it tells you here is because the cheek skin is pulled taut and tight. Almost no wiggling or kicking of the feet, so probably using some kind of restraint would be best. But due to this position, the spanker has a perfect aim and access to strike the most sensitive skin area right under the cheek, where the very top of the thighs begin, traditionally known as the sit spot. So, some nice wrist to ankle cuffs.
Sit spot.
Kick those up. Watch how it goes down. So, gonna need some thorough testing from somebody. Very subtle, very subtle. Okay, there's that crap. All right. Oh my god, I hate this mouse. This is awful. Oh, don't need that.
I don't know what's going on over here. You guys all disappeared. Oh no. What are you doing, mister? Oh, you're back. Alright. So, what's our next kink?
So this one has a very short list with it, but it can go into a ton of things. Sensation play. Hi, Becca.
Ooh.
Hi, Becca.
Sensation
Hi,
play.
Becca. Hello.
Sorry, I was distracted. Hi, Rebecca. Cool. There's another tribute. I can pretend to step back.
There we go. We can take turns. You know, you gotta have a good control group, a nice sample size.
Absolutely. So I'm surprised that I tried to skip right over the sensation play of what we were talking about because that's like, yeah, that's my
Well,
stuff.
sensation is such a broad topic.
Yes, it is. It's a broad.
Because
broad.
it's pain, pleasure, hot, cold, texture, anything that adds a different sensation.
Sounds, smells.
Mm-hmm. Sensory deprivation is a good way to do that. I think we had a talk about that not too long ago.
Or is it a bad way?
It's a great way.
Depends on the person. I think it'd be bad for me. I don't want to try that. I mean, certain senses, we like to do that. But I think you're talking about the tanks where they put you in the water and it's all dark and quiet.
Like, in a non-kinky way, I want to do one of those sensory deprivation tanks so bad.
I want to get like a waterproof vibe and have that attached to me and put me into one of those tanks. So the only thing that you can feel or really sense at all is the vibration.
Holy shit, that would be crazy.
Okay, now I'm thinking this might be something I could do.
I really want to experience that, but those tanks are expensive.
Yeah. I know you can go to places to do that. Like,
but are they going to let me take a vibe in there?
That's your secret, not theirs. Depends on where you put it to get in.
Hello, Lush.
Yeah. Everybody has a prison pocket.
So sensations, that would be a hell of a sensation. I wonder if it'd make the water wave a little. Like if you turn the pulsate part on, that goes bzz, 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 it would make the water just go. But you wouldn't be able to see.
What about the Morse code setting?
Oh. So vibrators give you good sensations, don't they, Ray Ray?
Fuck you.
Most of the time, they do.
It's electric.
Mm-hmm. It can do. So apparently, like vibrations can be too much for some people.
Yeah. It can be a sensory overload for some, and sometimes that's the goal for people is to hit to that point of overstimulation, and then you just lay it on even more.
And overstim is its own sensation play.
See, it's so I'm saying it's like such an umbrella
It's its own
thing.
kink too.
Like that could probably be like a whole.
What do you
month of
call
topic.
that?
Overstim is normally what people call.
Yeah, is there some other like porn categories for me?
Overstimulation.
Edge play? No, that's a whole nother thing.
There's 7,342 topics we could talk about.
Oh
with
my
kink. We're
goodness, right?
I have no
We're gonna
idea.
be up all night.
But so the idea when people that are new, we're kind of talking like the new ones, the 101s, the intro class, wax play, and ice play. Not really intro things, but kind of what people think of as the hot dripping wax on your body, using an ice cube along the body, and all that stuff. So,
They make different level temperatures for the candles for wax play, and like for that, I'd specifically recommend a new person like start at the lowest temperature and work up to find their sweet spot.
I'm trying to think. Beeswax is the hottest, right?
Doc Johnson makes candles just for beginners. Actually, you can get them in like any adult store. You can get them on junipergen.com as well. But they're pretty. There's a black one and a red one and a purple one. And it is not paraffin candles, you guys. It is beeswax candles, I believe.
Microcrystalline, which probably shouldn't use stuff like that. Soy.
Some
Soy
of my
candles, yeah.
some of my favorite candles actually melt down into massage oil instead of molten wax. So you get hot oil that you can then pour onto someone and massage them with. It's a
Yep.
great fucking time.
But on average, so if you get into wax play, anywhere from about 100 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit is what candles melt at. You don't want to put 190 degree shit on your body, like just so we're aware. I don't think that's safe for anybody, regardless of how much of a masochist you may be. That can cause actual damage.
There's a certain point where it's not worth it.
Right. And I was incorrect. So beeswax
Is the best
is supposed to be one of the best.
because it's such a low heat melting point. Paraffin's the worst. I'm learning things. I'm really proud of myself. I am the one that asks these silly questions, but you guys, I'm really proud of myself. I'm learning things. I know that's right.
We are incorrect. I think we had that backwards. I'm doing things.
So
Soy, there's a low melt soy wax that melts at 130 degrees, which is about
that's
ideal.
hot.
That's how hot your Starbucks is when you drink it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like baby's bathwater.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Your bath water's like 375 degrees.
Right.
So yeah, we'll have to. Ice. How do we feel about ice?
Can we make sure we put the proper heat things out first?
let's
Because
see.
I
I was so
actually
excited
just
about
got the
learning
heats.
this.
I just got the heats up on my side. I can give you the temperatures.
Thank you.
So paraffin is going to be your low end, burning between 120 and 135 degrees temperature Fahrenheit. Beeswax burn from 145 to 170. Soy candles burn between 135 and 145, but the molten wax from the soy candles cools the fastest. So when you pour it onto you, it cools off of your body and loses its heat the fastest.
Oh, okay.
So Google your shit while you're get it known in your head for yourself. Oh my goodness. I really thought I had that down. So paraffin is a step below on a good bad scale beeswax. Because that's what most of our candles are made out of.
Yeah. Paraffin's the low end stuff. Like I regularly drink coffee that's hotter than paraffin candles burning.
See, that's why I don't know why I got it backwards. It's probably because we've read this shit so much, it just kind of jumbles all together at some point.
It's a good thing that I checked.
That's right.
Always check your shit.
Even if it's something you've done like 1,000 times before, just a quick Google search for safety before you get started, always a good idea.
Which kind of makes me think of a little tip I didn't share in our spanking segment, you guys. Let's be more open to trying our tools on ourselves before we try them on others.
That's the best part, though.
For some of us, but some are like, not into that, and they really, really need to be, just to see what sensation is being given.
Any decent dominant is going to experience their own tools before they use them on someone else. Period.
And I will say, as a dominant, even if you don't like how it feels, it doesn't mean that your partner or your submissive may not. Like, I'm not a fan of impact. So when I feel like a ruler hit me, it's like, it sucks. But my partner, that may be their favorite thing.
Depends on the spot.
But it allows me to know, that hitting like that has a good sting to it. But it's not too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of get to gauge how hard I hit. Nice.
Especially for people that are newly getting into being on the giving end, it's a good idea to gauge like what your force level is when you swing different ways with different tools before you just go hog wild and you end up hitting too hard because you're in the headspace of it without knowing what you're doing.
There's also with some tools, like long falls on floggers, the different length you are away can determine the type of impact that you get. So like with the flogger that I have, if I want sting, I have to make sure I'm swinging where I'm hitting with the end of the falls. But if I want it to be more impact, like more blunt impact, I can like take half a step forward and then just, and it'll get more of the falls, and you get this blunter hit instead of it being stingy.
Yeah.
That noise, you guys, of the crack of the ruler on the skin. Yee!
We saw your reaction.
So like when we go out to these events and we do our spanking and stuff like that, like, she does hers and then they're like, that's all you got. Then I step in and I hit them about to the intensity that she hit last, And then from there I'm gauging, because they're not my partners. I don't know what they like, how they like it. So, from there I'm gauging, do you want it harder or the same? And then we just work up from there. I did have a girl one time, I was using the paddle in Dallas and she kept saying harder, and finally I hit her just right. It wasn't hard, it was just that just right impact. It was hard enough, but she looked at me, she said, I like that, but don't do it again. It's a good time. Restraints is another intro thing. I'm thinking of things like in those silly little bondage kits. I said your intro class. This is the shit you're gonna go and you're gonna see that dumbass 50 Shades of Grey, and then let's go to Spencer's and get us some
Don't go to
toys.
Spencer's. Go on fucking Etsy or junipergen.com.
Oh, what did you pull out there?
My favorite kind of restraints.
Pantyhose?
Hog tie?
Little satin sashes.
Oh, okay.
Tie them around the hands, and Mister, you took off the tie earlier, and I shut down for a second because of the way you took it off. For the same reason.
And see, those? Psychological can have a big impact.
You got those, which are my favorite, especially for like people who are new and might not be comfortable with like being tied up with proper rope. Having something that's soft but also binding, and also much faster to cut. Like if you pull out, I got these over here. If you pull out some trauma shears, you got to cut through how many ever rounds of rope you made through their body or around their wrist or whatever. And then with these, you can usually cut in one place and they're done.
Mm-hmm.
So like these, the satin sashes you can usually find at like adult stores or like real cheap on Amazon. Those are the ones that I'd recommend the most for starters.
Yeah. Because see, like the reason I like ties is because like so if you know how to do like a simple half Windsor, you can use necktie, like actual neckties around a wrist if you know how to do it on that certain part or whatever. This is very, very sloppy. But something like that, even if it gets too bad, it's fairly quick release. You know, I mean, it's something you can pull a certain part of it and it's going to slip it out.
Mhm.
So
Can I
there's that.
take a poll from the class?
What?
Would you say if a bitch has a tie around her mirror in the car, she's a kinky bitch?
If I saw a tie around a woman's mirror in her car, that would be my first assumption.
Me too. Okay.
And that's so funny because my
Hold on,
okay.
Ray. What do you think?
That face says it all.
Says it all.
Who is it that you know that has a tie around their mirror?
So back when I was dating my other partner last year, that was like her thing. She wanted my ties, and she would put them around her rearview mirror in her car. But she wasn't into any kind of kinky stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, never got that far. But yeah,
Your little obsessions start somewhere, y'all.
that's right.
I've always loved butts. Now I spank them. Started somewhere.
I've been biting random objects since I was a kid, and now I'm into being bitten. It makes sense.
Makes sense. Yep. The seeds were being planted.
So when you go and you buy these, I'm going to type in exactly the 50 Shades Beginner Bondage Kit.
That motherfucker sells great.
Of course, everybody thinks that's the gold standard. And that's fine for new people. If that's how they get into it,
Oh, they
fuck
are
it,
pretty.
we will correct
Oh, no.
that. They look nice. So they come with, looks like, oh wow, this is a really nice one though.
Cool.
It's got a feather tickler, 2 satin straps like you were talking about, a finger loop flogger, a blindfold, looks like Kegel balls, butt plug, a bullet vibrator, and a cock ring.
A very
Ooh.
small
And 2 nipple
butt plug
plugs.
in my, but it's all pretty small. The little floggers type.
Right. So
Some nipple clampies.
that's a lot of things that people jump into. What are you about to say, Ray?
For someone that's just getting into it, smaller is better to start with.
Hmm.
Oh, they have this other one that's cute. It's got 4 satin straps, a little padded paddle, and then a blindfold. Couldn't think of the word. That's sign language, right? Blindfold? I don't know.
I like blindfolds. They're like sensory deprivation.
I will lose my shit if that's the real sign language for blindfold.
I don't think it is, but
I doubt it is, but I'm never accidentally right.
It's like strap over the eyes and tie.
Nice, cool.
Blindfold
Learn
my
something new
ass.
today, kids. So restraints. A lot of people start or think they want to run to Lowe's and grab like rope, whatever kind of rope. No. Do some
No.
research. Like, holy shit, do some research. Because some rope hurts, and that's fine if you're into it. Some rope is soft. You could have an allergy to the type of rope. So definitely want to know all those things before you use them with somebody.
But it's okay to be a creep in the Home Depot or the Lowe's and just peek down the rope aisle to see if anybody's looking at the ropes and touching it.
If you see a couple in the rope aisle, you can kind of assume a little bit they're probably not going boating.
It might be.
They might be. They might go use that rope in other ways on the boat.
In December.
Boat dungeon.
They could be into macrame. They could be hanging plants.
True. Or they could be hanging people in kinky ways and not gross ways.
There you go. Yeah. You know. Either way, always assume people in the rope aisle are there for kinky reasons. It's more fun. Don't ask them about it though. That's weird.
Before we move off of restraints, they do make collars and cuffs that attach to each other that are a great fucking time.
Yeah.
Like you can have, they even make like waist harnesses that you can attach the cuffs to, and you've got like a chain from the back of the collar down to the waist harness, down to the cuffs, which lock people into place in really, really fun ways.
Yeah.
Those are things.
So
I want a shorter bed.
Can
Can I just say I want a shorter bed?
Oh, I don't have the plug with me. But Regally
Regally Wild.
Wild, she would be able to manage some
Oh
homemade
man, yeah,
cups.
because she makes
like
cuffs,
that.
harnesses, collars, all this shit. She makes some cool stuff. My little cheap bag that I had at Pride in Charlotte broke. The strap broke,
Mhm.
and she comes over with like these hooks and links and all these things, and like it's fucking
Really
no
pretty.
time. Rigs it up, and now I want the other side to match it.
I threw that bag away,
What?
but I kept the thing.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you threw those
Crazy.
away.
No, I cut it off and I threw that poor little bag away. So sad by the time we got done with Pride.
Because we're so organized. Let's back up a little bit because we've said a lot of stuff that people may not know.
I just drove around the block. Is that okay?
Sure.
We're back at it,
three
though.
lefts make a right. Or something like that. I don't know what the fucking phrase is.
What was your thought? I'm sorry, you guys.
So terms.
Yeah.
We kind of glossed over some terms that
Turds?
maybe yes, turds. I glossed over those earlier. But your vocabulary. Who's got dominant? Okay. Go for it, Alice.
In a power exchange or a dynamic, the dominant is the person who has the physical authority in the situation, but they are granted that authority by the submissive.
Well, what's a submissive?
The person who surrenders that authority to the dominant so that the dominant can be in charge consensually.
But, and contrary to popular belief, sometimes submissives can do things to dominants.
Mhm.
Dominants.
It all
can do things,
It all depends on your individual dynamic.
right. What do they call it? No, topping from the bottom is like the shitty way of where you're trying to be submissive, but you're telling them how to do stuff.
It's not always shitty. That if that is your arrangement, like if you're teaching the dom,
Some people like backseat drivers.
Well, that's the way it's always been presented to me, is topping from the bottom. That's essentially someone telling you how to do what you're supposed to be doing.
Well, what's wrong with that?
some people need instructions.
I think it's
It
pretty
can also be part of like a power struggle between the dom and the sub, as long as it's consensual.
Right? Okay.
It's a fun way to brat.
It is a fun way to brat.
Okay.
You run into a brat tamer, it's a real fun thing to tame out of someone.
What's a brat?
You want to take this one, Ray?
The best definition she could have given you right then was look at you and go, no. Brats are assholes, or they can be assholes.
What?
A brat is somebody that has consented to be dominated over, but then likes to not play by the rules.
on purpose.
Push the boundaries, push the limits. Malicious compliance is fun.
A brat is a submissive who, in their agreed, like, consensual power dynamic, fights the dom, but intends to lose.
See, I think some of them forget that intends to lose part.
No, some of them don't want to give up at the end. They want to be completely overpowered.
Right. And then a brat tamer. I mean, I feel like that one's a little obvious.
It's the other side of that, the person that enjoys giving instructions, having resistance, and then overcoming that resistance.
Okay, just for clarity, I need to say this word with absolute clarity. What is a rigger?
A rigger is a person who likes to tie people up. It can be done in a very practical way with simple and effective knots, or it can be done in artistic ways, like with shibari.
Okay.
Small note. There are riggers in vanilla lifestyles that do vanilla rigging jobs that are not necessarily kinky. So be careful not to get too excited when somebody presents themselves as a rigger and they're really talking about like parachutes and not kinky things.
Side note, kind of bouncing off of that a little bit, if you're in a kinky space and you're looking for someone who's going to be really good at rigging, find a sailor.
Mm-hmm. Sailor, any kind of offshoreman, like a parachute, people that do like paratroopers, like if they're in the military, they know
you
that
can
shit.
Convert quickly, huh?
Yep.
Look for somebody in an occupation that uses knots day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
Boy Scout.
Wait, hold up now.
In the 90s.
Oh, okay, in the 90s, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lawsuit about that now.
How
So we're
Arthur
gonna say no.
depicted it.
We're gonna say
Like
no.
Little Bear and shit like that.
Little Bear. Oh, okay.
The innocent shit, y'all.
But we don't want to seek those
Moving
out.
on. Moving on.
Okay.
You don't touch Boy Scouts.
So what's a rope bunny?
Someone who enjoys being tied up.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I was like wanting to move away from that word anyway. Can we get a better word for the industry? Just saying. Because I don't talk very clearly sometimes, and my words might not sound like the words I'm saying.
I was at a dungeon where the hosts had that problem, so they started calling the people who were doing rigging gift wrappers.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Gift wrappers.
I like that.
Much safer too. A switch. We should have talked about this in the dom and sub setting, but a switch
is a person who can play either role and be satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Dom or sub, specifically.
vanilla.
Dom or sub, top or bottom.
Nope, top or bottom is verse, not a switch.
Say that again.
It's a verse.
Verse, like versatile. The first syllable of versatile.
Well, since we brought that term up, what about tops? Tops are usually the ones doing the actions, whereas your bottoms are the ones receiving the actions. Typically. Doms can be bottoms and subs can be tops. It just gets all confusing. It really does. I listened to an episode of I think it was American Sex, and I was so confused for like 10 minutes. Go ahead.
So I think a good way to separate that is dom and sub refers to the exchange of power. Top and bottom refers to the exchange of actions.
Yes.
Okay. Because like the way she was saying in that episode, because she was talking about how tops can be doms and they can be bottoms, they can be subs and switches, and like the way she just kept saying it. Eventually she clarified, but at first I thought I was kind of having a stroke. I'm not understanding what's happening here.
Which may have been the case. He's got poor diet.
Probably, the Red Bull kicked in.
Like a good example, like you could have a dom that part of their requirements would be for their sub to perform a specific action on them. In that specific scenario, the dom would be the bottom because they're receiving the action.
Yeah. And like you run into that a lot in worship kink, which we might get to later.
Oh, we'll absolutely get to that. Now that you've mentioned it, we'll get to that one. So vanilla is like your standard sexual relationship without any accessories. Do we draw the line at toys though? Vibrators and things like that.
No, that's
That depends on how they're used, right?
Hmm.
If it's just like you're using a dildo because like the soldier won't stand at attention today, then that's just sex. You just have a prosthetic. But if you're using like a vibrator just specifically to overstimulate someone till they're a crying mess, then you get into kink stuff.
It's
So
so wild.
it depends on how the tool is applied.
Exactly.
It's so crazy how like everything. I mean, it has a line before it becomes something else.
I do actually want to pull up something Rebecca just said in the chat.
Mhm.
Vanilla isn't just missionary position. It is not.
You can doggy style vanilla.
But as soon as you slap that ass, you're kinky.
I mean, if you go to doggy style and not slap the ass, you're not having good sex.
But what about when you? Is that kinky?
The fuck
What-
are you even asking?
So would anal be considered a kink? Like would
No.
that cross the line?
No. However, if you get into doing anal specifically because it's painful, or if you get into like using specific types of toys or specific sensations during, then it becomes a kink again.
Very nice. See, I love it. It's
So
just
like vanilla is the ice cream base and the kinks are all the sprinkles.
All the toppings. Or
Yeah.
the bottomings.
All of the additives.
So all of these things go down within a scene, whether it's like a predefined scene or not. I guess it would still technically, no matter what you're doing, would be considered a scene until it's over. Whether you're not doing contracts and all that shit, it's just hey, I'm gonna cuff you tonight.
Even like basic vanilla sex, not basic, but vanilla sex is a scene.
It's still something that has set up a beginning, a during, an end, and cleanup or a takedown.
if you're
And aftercare, ideally.
oh no, my brain
That's
is
cleanup and takedown.
spiraling. If you're recording this vanilla sex, is it kinky?
Again, depends. If you're recording it for yourselves, not really, because there's not much. But if you're recording it specifically to show other people, then that's exhibition, and it becomes kinky again.
Everything has a line.
If you're just doing a highlights reel for you and your own team, that's all it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Got to review film later. Got to have film time.
But what if we fuck while we watch it next time? That's kinky, right?
No, it's just hot.
Is that visual masturbation? If you watch yourself fuck somebody?
Well, not if it's not masturbation if you're doing it with somebody, and that's what I was talking about.
So if you watch a sex tape of yourself, but you don't touch yourself, are you watching yourself masturbate?
No, you're watching yourself have sex.
Fair enough. I had a whole connection there and then just went away. But you did say a keyword there, Alice, aftercare. I think beyond our typical words of, we use, aftercare may be the most essential part. But it doesn't mean that you're cuddling up. It doesn't have to mean that you're giving rub downs. It doesn't have to mean that you're doing anything. Your aftercare could be like, all right, I'll text you when I get home. If that's what it's defined as.
It is.
And when we get to that defining, it's between the people involved. Right? Some people go, "Hey, I want to drink some water before I leave," and that's their aftercare. And then some people want to be like, "Hey, let's spend an hour in bed, snuggled up, and compliment each other while we watch some shit on our phones," and that's also aftercare.
It is whatever is necessary for restabilizing your peace of mind after a scene.
And all kinky fun things should follow the RAC acronym of being risk aware and consensual. Risk aware, consensual, kink.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 10 other ones, but yeah, that's common.
Rack is the good one.
Mhm.
Like the other big one is like safe, sane, and consensual, but a lot of kink isn't safe.
Mhm.
And it's just taking on that risk informedly, which is where risk aware comes in.
I like prick too, the
Oh, no.
personal responsibility and conform kink or inconsensual kink. Had a spillage over here.
Oh no.
Knocked the cup down, put a hole in it. It's a whole fun thing over here. Y'all didn't even get to see it.
I would also like
It'll
to
make
highlight-
Alice feel better. It was a Chick-fil-A cup.
Good. Fuck bigot bird. What was that, Ray?
I would also like to highlight that aftercare is for everyone. It is a very big misconception that aftercare is only for the submissives and or bottoms. It is for everyone involved.
100%. 100%. And then there is negotiation is another important word. And just to clarify, negotiation doesn't mean like a lot of people think it means with the. And I reference 50 Shades because it's what a lot of intro people do is they watch 50 Shades and they want to try some of this cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you have to sit down with like a 12-page contract and define every single thing you're doing. It just means that you and partners that you have agreed upon whatever actions are happening. You can have a 12-page contract if you'd like, but
But if you're going to have a contract, it's really important to know that a contract doesn't force consent to exist. So, like, even if you've signed a piece of paper that says, I will do this activity, even during, you can still go, actually, I need to not do this.
Yep.
And it's also important to know that those contracts do not necessarily protect you in, like, court of law. If you fuck up and kill somebody, whether you were under contract or not, you fucked up and killed somebody.
Yeah.
But Your Honor, it was in our agreement that I killed him.
It's not like that fucking thing you signed to go skydiving.
Yeah,
It's not a waiver.
How would that happen if you signed a waiver though?
If you have a Dom hand you a waiver to sign before you go into their space, turn
Run.
around and run in the other fucking direction.
But let's say it's like
I mean,
consented and agreed upon and all that stuff.
If you're going to consent to not being able to hold the other person responsible for what they do, don't.
I just wonder legally, like how would that play out?
I feel like a good Dom would never want that because that's their priority to make you
right.
safe.
Right. Go ahead, Ray.
Legally, it still holds little to no weight. If it is a notarized document, first off, good luck finding a notary to notarize that shit. But if it is a notarized document, it holds a tiny bit more weight in court, but it's still not really going to hold up in the legal system.
Right.
It can in civil court sometimes, like if you're suing somebody.
I was just fascinated by that thought for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Because if a waiver's like, yeah, if I'm not responsible for you dying, all this stuff, and then it happens, like, I mean, I guess you could still sue like theme parks and shit just because you signed waivers and all that anyway. But I don't know. I just had that thought. Like, are you legally
on the theme park angle? Like, even with the waivers, theme parks and other like public spaces that have you sign waivers have a duty to do their due diligence before you enter the place. So, like, if it's something that's gross fucking negligence, the waiver doesn't protect them. And that's kind of what you run into with like the Dom situation. Like if you're over here choking somebody and you don't know, like, hey, if their eyes start to flutter, let the fuck go, and you choke them until they die, then that's gross negligence.
Right. Okay.
So
I like what Rebecca said.
You can't have a good relationship with your dom if they don't make you feel safe.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that is so fucking important.
it's like
I feel like you can't have a good relationship with anyone if you don't feel safe with them.
Mhm.
To at least a certain extent.
Yeah.
It is very important in a DS dynamic, but the Dom also has to be able to trust that they're safe with the sub.
this conversation has made me think of one more vocabulary term that we didn't touch, and it's safe word.
Safe words.
Anybody?
So safe words don't necessarily have to be like actual words. They can be gestures, sounds, interacting with a specific object, or like words that you agree on ahead of time. It's a signal to stop. Some like pairs or groups or dynamics will have multiple sets of safe words that are of different degrees of intensity. Some of them just have one that says stop, and we'll figure out whether or not we're going to go after we talk.
It's a signal to stop and or modify, depending on the arrangement.
That's a lot simpler than what I said. Thank you.
Very good.
My favorite safe word system is traffic lights.
Mine too.
Red, yellow, green.
Personally, I use the traffic light system, but because of my health and mental health stuff, because it requires a different form of aftercare than a physical need to stop, I've added in extra colors.
Mhm.
Like
What if you're
purple for me.
colorblind?
Mr. Shut the fuck up.
Then you wouldn't use that in your individual dynamics, sir.
Wait,
I'm full of my shit today. Sorry, guys.
Even the vast majority of colorblind people in countries where they use traffic lights have read in a book somewhere what color they're supposed to fucking be.
I guess I could do top, middle, bottom.
so we could explain the traffic light system to any colorblind person right now. Red means stop, which means don't do it anymore. Yellow means slow down. Let's talk about what you're doing. And green means go harder, motherfucker. Green light, vroom.
Beep, beep.
Okay.
For me personally, I have added in purple for a mental health trigger, and I have added in blue for a physical health trigger.
I was gonna say I've heard of the blue one of adding that for medical
But I
reasons.
could if I needed to, I guess.
I do blue as well because I have asthma. So if a scene's getting to the point where I'm like about to have an asthma attack, I'll call blue so that doesn't happen.
Blue, get my inhaler.
Yeah.
Right?
Blue has become pretty universal for stop. I need some form of medical attention.
Every time y'all say stop, my brain goes drop, kaboom, baby. Rub on my nipples.
Is that a song?
Yeah.
Some call me Ludacris, some call me Mr. Wiggles.
What song was that?
Sorry, you guys.
I don't know. I don't think I've heard it before. This
Oh,
mess.
I'm
it's
just letting
Holiday Inn by Chingy. It's just Ludacris's part on there.
Yeah.
you guys, I'm just letting you in my brain tonight.
Oh, it's a good time. It's a good time.
But yes. And the reason for the distinction is, like I said, it requires different forms of aftercare. Like if I feel myself going into a flashback, that requires different aftercare than if my blood sugar is bottoming out.
Mm-hmm. And that brings up another good point: is to know your partner's conditions. Good, Alice.
Your partner is responsible for telling you their conditions ahead of time.
Absolutely. That if you have any major health concerns, especially when you're getting involved in heavier kinks, it is absolutely your responsibility to inform your partner of what to watch for, what to do, who to call, whatever the needs may be to keep the scene safe for you medically.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, to put that in for me, like one of the things I like is being caned across my back, which impact to your chest can fuck with asthma. So like I have to tell any person who's canning me there, hey, I have asthma. This might trigger some breathing problems. I'll say blue if I can, or I'll hold up a hand and go sit down, and that just stop if that happens.
Very nice.
It is very important to communicate if you have a medical condition that may very easily make you non-responsive. What signs to watch for your partner, like for a PTSD flashback, I tell all my partners, watch for the 1,000-yard stare. If you've ever seen it, you know what it is. For if my blood sugar is bottoming out, if I start like all of a sudden acting like I'm drunk and there's been no alcohol involved, feed me.
For me, with the TISM, if I get overstimulated, we got really good odds that I go nonverbal. And like I talk through most everything happening. So if I suddenly stop talking for a prolonged period of time, we know we're reaching that point of overstimulation. And if that's on purpose, cool, green light, keep going. But if that's not something we were aiming for, then it needs to stop.
Okay.
It's so nuanced to every individual, because I also do go nonverbal in subspace. Like if I hit any form of subspace, words are fucked. But it looks different visually. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
It's all body language, like especially in that kind of situation.
Like if I'm nonverbal but still arching and all that, like we're good. But if I'm nonverbal and ragdoll, we might have a problem.
Fair enough. So I've got on my list here one of the most, I think, is probably one of the most closeted kinks people have, borderlining into the fetish category, is foot fetish.
Really? I thought you were gonna say voyages or voyagism. Because they're hiding in closets watching. Or wait, no, that's the people that are doing it.
No, voyeurism.
Did I get it right? Okay.
Voyeur is the one that's watching.
Okay, good.
You were correct.
Mm-hmm. But foot fetishes, I see, like as far as like adult content creators go, that's like one of the most requested.
Big money because of how taboo it is. Like, okay, everyone here probably already knows I do the adult content stuff, but one of my highest paid videos lately was flogging the bottoms of my feet.
Nice.
Fuck, if I could get paid for that.
I got paid $200 for that.
Nice.
Good job.
Fuck yeah, I want to do that.
And like, just to have said it, if feet are your thing, there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
I said this to Mr. about a month or so ago. I think that's an avenue I really want to pursue because I enjoy my feet being touched and I enjoy touching my feet in weird things.
So, Jen, if you would ever like suggestion in that direction, drop a line.
Line dropped. I want to step on pancakes.
One of my favorite things to do in that direction is to have someone like with outdoor plumbing, as it were, lay down under a table or a desk and just sit there and give them attention while I'm doing whatever else I'm doing.
I'm down for a foot job. Where's Dream? Not to give me a foot job, but to explain what a foot job may be.
Oh, you guys, that's an inside joke, and you're gonna have to like
go back and find it somewhere. Real quick to address what Rebecca says there. She love the fact you all know what you like and how to stay safe doing it. I'm still trying to figure it out. That's okay. And only you can figure it out for yourself.
Me as well.
I think
All of us.
the vast majority of the kink community is ever evolving. Like it takes a certain level of introspection to even know what kinks you like, and having that level of introspection would naturally cause you to have a certain curiosity.
Yeah. I do want to just chime in just real quick. What you like changes over time, and it's completely fine to be like, last year I didn't like this thing, but now I'm really into it, or last year I was really into that other thing, and now it's not really my vibe, and that's fine. Like the people are allowed to change what they're into.
The butter mushing between my toes.
It's okay to get bored and want different additives.
Different
And it doesn't-
sprinkles?
It doesn't even necessarily have to be that you're bored with it. You could just like have had an experience that changed your taste a little bit.
I reference that one specifically because that does tend to be a struggle with some relationships. Is people getting bored and then feeling guilty because they're bored.
Huh?
So, like, I can compare that with another important relationship in my life, and that would be food.
Getting like
A
over
lot
your
of-
palate of food.
A lot of times, you know, I like the same thing over and over again, and I've had it so many times. I'm like, I can't eat pancakes anymore.
Just step on them. Go ahead, Ray.
I wanted to address Rebecca's comment. The guilt factor is a huge thing for a lot of people, especially first starting out. Ultimately, though, as long as something is as safe as it can be for you and whoever else is involved, it's only up to you to decide what feels right or wrong for you.
Mm-hmm. I want to side note into our personal life a little bit. Do you know how you learned that you like the foot thing? The foot touches?
No.
It was in New Jersey. But we were hooking up in this hotel before we left New Jersey.
So dirty.
And
We're
I
dirty.
squirrel brained in the middle of sex. Like I squirrel brained and I saw her foot and I was like, I bet it'd be soft to touch that. And I touched her foot and it was just like a big reaction. I was like, oh, okay, that's the thing now. So, you know, embrace the impulse sometimes. Within reason.
I had an ex do that to the back of my knees once.
Uh-huh.
I was laying down on my stomach for activities, and he stopped and just like grabbed my leg and started kissing up it, and then just stayed at the back of the knees for a while. And I found out that I was very into that because he was just fucking around.
Which, interestingly enough, people don't know was a highly erogenous zone.
Armpitties. Ooh.
Which leads to the tickling conversation. Tickling is a pretty good one. It's more it's one of the less risky kinks. You might get punched in the face, but
Depends on the person.
right.
Like there's the obvious stuff, like if someone has like a nerve condition that might not be safe to get into tickle with. Then there's also just people like me who hate being tickled and will absolutely throw hands over it.
Like,
But what if you're right about to come and somebody tickles you?
It
Say again?
depends on the person.
What if you're like at the breaking point of coming, of having
I will lose it. It will just immediately just drop.
like,
Okay.
like,
Think of it like putting a hole in a balloon. Just and it's gone.
No
I
fun.
wish I could make that noise. I can hear it in my head.
As someone that has 2 different nerve conditions, tickling is probably one of the most painful things you can do on several areas of my body. Like light touches feels like you're digging glass into my bones.
I love light touches.
In those specific areas. In other areas, game on. But that would be up to me and my responsibility to communicate that to whoever I was with.
Right.
I've was several people. The one thing that I actually liked from that stupid fucking movie was when he took the marker and drew safe zones. I have done that.
With paint markers, glitter. We've done that with lots of things, haven't we?
You can get into objectification a little bit. Like, a fun little role play is to turn your partner into a treasure map and like have them draw the path they want you to follow over their body as you touch them.
Interesting.
That might be a fun game to play.
It's a really good time.
Break that at the next birthday party, you know?
Yeah. Mr.'s birthday's coming up.
Oh, it is next Tuesday.
I'm gonna stand by an earlier statement that I made that none of you noticed I made yet.
Which one was that?
It's a private chat kind of joke.
Oh, I got you. Okay. I'll pull up the transcript later and look for it. Gotcha.
It's not in the transcript.
Oh, it will
Bless
be.
your heart.
Oh, I missed it.
There's a private chat, dude. How much?
It's the second message in the private chat. There are only 2 right now.
Oh, they didn't notify me of the second one. Oh, that's funny.
Right, I did notice that earlier. I just was letting you suffer in silence.
Thanks. You're a good friend.
One or a set of kink that I call them a set because they kind of go hand in hand when being discussed. That is usually found at a younger age of some sort, whether it's it's kind of the first that people really get into. Voyeurism and exhibitionism is a fun one. I know I've got some fucked up voyeur stories as a horny little teenage boy.
It's don't voyeur and don't exhibit without consent.
Yes.
Yes.
When there is consent, it's incredibly hot. Like
It
having a couple look at you and go, "We want you to watch us fuck," is one of the hottest things I've ever had happen. If I'm honest.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Touching
Adjusting.
things. We can't
But
touch things.
is anybody taking volunteers? Sorry. What?
Always down to watch.
I mean, when I do start my Fansly stuff, Lav has suggested that they would be very willing to join me in the content. So you watch that. I can drop a line,
Oh yeah.
send you some free content,
So, like, I feel like I'd get into it, though. I'd be like a coach.
I noticed around the 3-minute mark.
Especially if it was somebody very close to me involved in the game.
Yeah,
Go,
and like,
go! Harder.
yeah, and like if that's like something that's negotiated between the people, that's completely fine and can be fun. Having someone else call the shots. The dungeon I used to work with, we had a service where couples that wanted to do something sexual but couldn't like touch each other for some reason would hire 2 of us for what our hostess was calling sex by proxy.
Huh.
And they'd give us instructions on how to fuck each other, and that was in place of them fucking each other physically.
I could see that like for religious or something like that, like those kind of reasons where they couldn't.
Most of the time, it was couples that were going through a divorce that were horny but didn't want to actually touch each other.
Oh, okay.
It could also be used, like, if you have a communicable disease.
Fair.
That's actually a pretty good angle there. I didn't think about. Very nice.
Or just because it's fun.
There's that too.
Whatever your reasons is fucking.
I rarely mean the
Valid
word
to you.
all when I say all, but I mean it this time. All adult content creators are exhibitionists.
No.
They
How not?
they can be by practice, but not preference, right?
Right. That's what I mean. Like in that specific realm. Otherwise, you're just making adult content for yourself.
Right. So like if they're like selling their stuff or like making a living off of it,
Mhm.
they're that is exhibitionism by like definition, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they enjoy that part of it. They're just making the
Right.
content and making money.
It's just work.
Some people,
Yeah.
some people just do it because it makes damn good money.
Some
If
people
I
really enjoy it.
if I could find people who would like do recurring bits where like I record specific videos for them instead of trying to do like general content, I would do that as a full-time job if I could.
Right.
Yes. Fuck yes.
And as you release into the adult content world, you'll absolutely find that. You'll find those specific people that want just your content. They want it personalized to them, and they'll pay a lot more for it.
The more personalized something is and the more kinky something is, the more money you can make off of it.
And in the shitty let's make money off of people being gross sort of where I also have the trans angle. So like there's a lot of fetishization there that just starts baseline because I'm on HRT.
That right there is probably I'd have to like really do some research on it and see if I could find any information on it. I would almost bet that's one of the most profitable areas for like OnlyFans and adult content creation right now. That
Probably.
and foot stuff.
The more
Trans
taboo,
foot stuff.
the more taboo something is at the time, the more people are willing to pay for it.
Back when I was in my early 20s, I had two friends that they looked similar. You know, they favored each other. So they made content all the time, like in the incest category. And they were dating. Like they were together. They weren't related by any means, but they looked
So it's just like
so
role play
similar.
for them.
Yeah, it was role play for them, and they were making killer content for it and making good money off of it. Like, fuck yeah,
Hell yeah.
right. Which leads me to role play, since we just dropped that word. That's another good intro to being kinky.
And it's almost like it's spooky season, bitches.
Doctor, I need an examination. Help.
How can I earn some extra credit?
Surely there must be some way I can pay you back. I don't have the money. That kind of shit.
Right.
I see a couple of reactions that I enjoyed to that one.
I'm here to lay some pipe. Somebody order extra large sausage pizza.
It can also be like going out somewhere with your partner and pretending to be strangers and picking each other up type stuff too.
That'd be fun.
That one's fun because that ends up being like bring all of the game you have at your partner like you've never met them before is just like a really fun like flirty date to have.
Imagine thinking you have game though and you get rejected by the person you're already with.
That's some brat shit.
You want to go out, mister?
That sounds like something that would happen to me for sure.
You do that, your brat rejects you, and then you like get into maybe abduction or primal.
Or even the cuckold thing. They reject you and then find another partner.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's a whole bunch of ways to spend that.
Yeah.
Would still be fucking hilarious though. But yeah, so like I said, spooky season is here. Costumes are aplenty right now. So, you know, you can have shit that doesn't even make sense. Doctor and Dinosaur, you know. Jurassic Park.
My favorites for spooky season are the slasher killers.
Yeah.
And their victims as the role play.
That would be kind of fun.
Like you can find a lot of pictures of people dressed up as like Michael Myers or Ghostface holding someone by their hair to take a picture with their victim.
Yeah. I'm a pervert, so like I've seen a bunch of those on my Instagram because people know how to take it just at the right angle, so you know what's happening,
Mhm.
but just at the right angle, so the algorithm doesn't pick it up.
Yeah.
So, if anybody ever wants to log into my Instagram and watch porn, just let me know.
So, okay, all right, guys. I want to do the pumpkin thing, the pumpkin head thing. Can we make porn too?
Hold on.
Where I cut a
I
hole.
need you to explain what you mean by the pumpkin thing, because that's also a trans thing. So tell me what you mean.
Oh, now I'm really curious.
Okay. So the pumpkin head thing is where you go pick a pumpkin that's as big as your head. You have to make sure it's big enough for your big old head. And you cut the bottom out, and then you cut a face into it, and you put it over your head, and you take pictures.
It's a gross couples thing.
Or group thing. I'd love a whole squad of pumpkin bitches.
Okay, fair enough.
So there's a recurring meme in like the trans femme community online that like the first like their inaugural Halloween or spooky season, they have to go find a pumpkin and they just cut a hole in it and record themselves fucking it.
Interesting.
Can we do that too?
Hot fucking pumpkin, whatever.
And like trans femmes couples could fuck the same pumpkin at the same time and it becomes a couple thing.
There you go. Then it's a threesome with a pumpkin.
Yeah.
The great pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Gives a whole new story behind Pumpkinhead, huh?
Which was where my brain went when they were saying Pumpkinhead, was just doing the carved pumpkin, putting it over your head, and then giving someone head.
My mouth is gonna be a circle.
But in the trans femme thing, just cut a face on both sides. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, Pumpkinhead. See, these are the kind of munches I miss. I've got so much stuff. I want to start my fucking no context back up because those were so fun to do. Like I would just pull like 4 random moments out and just like find a picture with it, and then nobody knew what the fuck happened on much unless they watched.
I swear to fucking God, if you do one for tonight with any form of electricity on it, I am going to kill you.
Does a Pikachu count?
Oh my.
Oh,
Fuck you, Mr.
See, my pumpkin thing was where, I cut a hole in it, put my dick in it, and then have you reach in to help me pull the guts out. And it's like, oh, there's penis.
Well, I mean, we could do all 3 with one pumpkin. We're really, really budgeting on a.
Balling on a budget.
We are.
Boning on a budget.
Yeah, that sounds fun too.
Oh. Oh. I have a couple that are kind of a little more next level. Humiliation. But at the same time, I feel like at times that's an intro thing too.
Depends on the person.
Right, because the amount of, I've had partners in the past that aren't what you would call kinky, but to be called a slut in the middle of sex, fucking over the top. And that's just because it's, oh yeah, okay, I got 2 hands. Allison,
Ray first.
Ray first?
There's a difference between humiliation and degradation.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Humiliation is in front of other people. Degradation is insults one-on-one.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Missed my words up there. Okay, thank you. I don't know why I mix those up.
Yeah, like humiliation, like that, being called a slut in front of someone you care about. Or random strangers. Like, it's not uncommon for me to whisper insults at Lav consensually, like as we're walking through Walmart.
Right.
And that's that angle. And then degradation is just
He figures out how to put
in those 2 people.
Fuck you, mister.
There we go. I haven't had one yet, I don't think.
You've had a few.
You haven't had a fuck you, mister, tonight, but you did get a shut the fuck up, mister, earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta shut the fuck up, mister, and you gotta fuck you, mister. When you said Pikachu.
There you go.
Oh, the shut the fuck up was the collarbone question.
Yeah.
Oh. So humiliation, you said, is more a public thing than private.
Not necessarily public versus private, but in front of other people.
Oh, okay.
So like To bring that to Lav and I again, we have like a queer board game night we go to every Tuesday night, and if they start being obnoxious, I'll call them a needy slut in front of our friends, with our friends' consent, obviously, and it's just a laugh for everyone besides Lav, who gets real hot and embarrassed.
Very nice. Okay. And degradation is the calling names,
Mhm.
more or less behind closed doors.
Yeah, when it's just one-on-one or however
When
many
it's
people
just-
are involved on
Yeah, when
however
it's
many other
just the
people.
people. Yeah, when it's just the people directly involved.
So now, could that bond together?
So like when you're doing humiliation and it's like in front of other people, it is also degradation,
Okay.
but not the
Square
other way
rectangle.
around.
Square rectangle.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Squares and rectangles.
Gotcha. One that I haven't tried, kind of curious to try, but
you
not sure if I
have
will
to.
try. Sounding. Go ahead.
I have a sounding kit on the shelf back there. I'm not going to pull it out, but if you're into it, it's a good time, but it does hurt.
Okay, so I'm not into it anymore. We're good.
It's also important to make sure you're using materials that are suitable.
Mhm.
Most sounding kits will come with like medical grade or stainless steel
Mhm.
sounding tools, and then you just use an appropriate lube.
Go ahead.
What's sounding?
Sounding is the insertion of rods that are appropriately shaped and not improvised into the urethra, and that can be done with people who have outdoor plumbing or indoor plumbing.
So wait,
It can be done with anybody that has a urethra.
so you're
Well-
telling me I can't go to Starbucks and get a stainless steel straw? Just do it that way?
You can, but you're going to go to the hospital.
Okay.
You're going to end up having another extra hole.
So see, Starbucks, I'm endorsing you. Endorse me already.
I don't think
Mm.
Starbucks would approve of that particular endorsement.
We'll find out. Need to send them that clip later. See if they'll block me. Mm. So edge play. A lot of people get this one confused though. Because like, is it like sharp edge play or is it edging?
So, what I've heard to keep that separation is the edge play typically broadly gets referred to as knife play. If
Okay.
it's not, even if it's not like a knife that is the sharp object,
Okay.
to keep that separation. And then edging is what you're thinking of, getting someone close and stopping or changing the attention so that it's a different form of stimulation. Rinse and repeat until they're a drooling, begging mess. And then maybe, if they're good, letting them finish.
And if not, save it for another day.
Yep. And that gets into denial, which is another kink.
See. Like I said, 7,483 different kinks. Like Pokemon, gotta catch them all.
That's a kink.
Ain't that right, Pikachu? What's a kink? Pokemon?
Trying all of them.
Oh, trying all of them. I mean, Pokemon is a kink too, I guess.
And I
Nope.
guess that's part of cosplay, dressing
Yeah,
up.
cosplay. That was the biggest one though, the edge play, because like in my mind, every time, because I don't do any kind of knife play and stuff like that. So in my mind, when I hear edge play, I think of edging.
So, like,
So edging is the controlled extension of the time it takes to get to the orgasm.
in theory, if you don't let them finish during the scene, that becomes denial instead of edging. The other form of edge play or knife play, that one's real fucking dangerous. That's not a 101.
No.
You have to know the person. You have to know the tool they're using. You have to know like how good they are with it. And like there's a whole lot that can go wrong if they fuck up. Like that's really fucking dangerous. But if you find someone you trust that you want to explore that with, like a really good test is take them to your kitchen, have them prepare a bunch of different types of fruits and vegetables, and see how they handle the edged thing they're working with.
Mm-hmm.
And like if they're good enough that they can like competently prepare or like take one of the tests I had to do at the dungeon before I was allowed to do knife play was I had to like skin a cantaloupe without puncturing the inside of the membrane with it.
Oh wow.
And like once I did that, then we had a basic like here's cutting tests, here's controlling pressure tests, and then I was allowed to do knife play. And that's not a small amount of risk to take on. So like both people have to be well educated on where you can and can't draw an edge, where you want to avoid drawing blood. If you want them to draw blood, where you can do that safely, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I'm not sure-handed enough for that. That's for sure.
Oh, I am. I've been throwing knives since I was a little kid.
Like one of the fuckers around here would say, you know, you got to be careful because that knife's sharp enough to circumcise a gnat.
You also don't use knives that are that sharp for knife play. Like at the point that you have something that sharp against someone's skin, accidents do happen. That will put someone in the hospital.
And even if you are very careful, if it's something that that sharp, the slightest pressure can cause damage.
Mm-hmm.
Like just a little bit of fraction too hard, and it can start to cause damage.
Yeah.
A good alternative, though, when it comes to like sensation play or sensory deprivation, a cold butter knife while blindfolded can have that same kind of sensation of a sharp blade if it's done right.
If it's done right, there is a little bit of like suspension of disbelief because ideally you're going to know the tool that's being used even in mock knife play.
Yeah.
But if you have a sharp tool and you are trying to use a sharp knife for it, like angle it. You don't ever want to have like the edge flat against someone's skin so that it or perpendicular to someone's skin so that it's just a cutting surface. But you can take a point and maybe 30-40 degree angle away from their skin and just glide the point across their skin. You can, if you're careful, you can like break a few layers of skin without causing much bleeding or dig in a little deeper to cause some light bleeding. But there's specific safe places to do that on the human body. And you've got to know what those are before you even start fucking around with this at all.
Right. So a lot of people don't understand like how once you get into even like using rope bondage and things like that, you have to know a decent amount of human anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be like proficient in everything, but as you get to the more dangerous activities or the riskier activities, then you do need to be a little more, intelligent and know, your blood vessels and all those things. That's an important part as well. You're muted, Ray. There you are.
Aww.
Oh, nope, you're muted still. Hold on, let me drop you. Can you hear me now? Nope. I don't know. It's showing me you're lit up on this side. I'm not sure. Like you.
Maybe that another app on your phone took over your microphone. Do you have anything open in the background? I'll hop out of the call and jump back in. Like all the way out. Like close the app that this platform's open on.
I hate when that stuff happens.
Yeah.
This is the fun. I have quite a few things for my no context. It's gonna be a good time.
I'm close to tapping out.
We're almost done either way.
Uh-oh. Things broke again. Oh no. I don't know if I'm live by myself or if I'm also broken. It's gonna be a great time.
Oh, there we go.
Here
Yeah.
we go.
It just,
There we go.
There we go. How about now?
Mm-hmm.
Are we good?
Yeah.
We're good.
I
It's
don't
so
even remember
interesting.
what I was saying.
Well, we were talking about knife play, safety.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. You have to know the level of anatomy that is required for the activity you intend to pursue.
Absolutely. Oh, one last one for the 101s, because I know a lot of people that are wanting to get into adult content creation, stuff like that, and get into the kink world. They always ask about first seems to be FinDom, financial domination. That one's like one of the most common that I see is people like, how do I get started to be a FinDom? And it's mainly because they're money driven, and that's fine. I mean, it's part of the business. It's all good, but there is an art to it. I mean, sometimes you could just find that one person you can just absolutely take advantage of, or wants you to take advantage of them in every single way. But communication, consent, boundaries, that whole spiel.
It's another thing that is highly individual.
I read wild ass stories like that all the time on Reddit. Blackmailing their person, and I'm like, holy shit.
Blackmail is a whole nother. Well, I guess that's under like umbrella.
Yeah. But so do sugar babies count as FinDom?
Not as FinDom, but sugar relationships are their own thing.
Okay.
Yes.
I was gonna say, I mean, you mix finances and bratting, and then boom, sugar baby.
Not all sugar babies are brats. Some of them are well-behaved arm candy.
Absolutely, I happen to know one. It's not mine because I don't, have any fucking money. But
You'd be a splendid daddy.
it's,
No, fucking sweet and low.
oh shit!
Mr. Sweet and Low.
There you go, Mr. Sweet and Low.
Mr. Splenda does sound better.
Mr. Splenda. Okay. Oh, cool thing.
Shit.
Starbucks now has my order as Mr. You can't see it because my camera fucking sucks, but there you go. Come on. Zoom in, fucker.
Mr. Princess?
Oh, yeah, like the whole thing, it says Mr. Princess, but like when they print it out, it says Mr. So
Nice.
Starbucks is complying with me whether they want to or not. I have a non-consensual relationship with Starbucks, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Oh my goodness.
Gross.
We should also mention like CNC. Not necessarily as like a 101 thing, but like something that people should be aware of if they're getting into kink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That leads back into our fake DOMs and stuff too. That's something that's a lot of your fake DOMs, your bad DOMs try to push without knowledge, and that is it's a touchy subject for a lot of people. So if you're willing to take that risk, I would absolutely suggest that you research that one on your own. I will see soon. Hopefully, Dream will fill up to it. I know that those darker kinks and fetishes are something that they like talking about. So, might have an exclusive episode that might stream straight to the website or something. That way, I'm not, pushing boundaries too much on social media. But that might be a good one.
Yeah, and like that's like I'm from my own experience not comfortable being like on the aggressor side of that.
Yeah.
But in a consensual space, that's something that I'm willing to like be on the receiving end of.
Right.
And like it takes a lot of negotiation. A lot of the times you'll have like specific phrases that you can say in the scene that are just play fighting back, and then other phrases that are like, no, you actually need to listen to this one. Things like pressure adjustments or like not actually fucking tearing the person apart. And then with like the safe words, normally you'll use your traffic lights or whatever you normally use in that scene, and you'll have a separate one specifically to break the CNC part so that you can go back into a consensual, no non-consent, just consensual part. And if your dom isn't willing to do that, don't even get close to it.
Right. Absolutely. We'll close out on this one here. Hold on just a second. This comment here was Rebecca says, I got burned by somebody who said they were a dom. Good doms will be able to prove it before they need to. I think is a decent way to put that.
A good dom doesn't need to tell you they're a good dom.
Mm-hmm.
Like go ahead.
I was gonna say they know all the unspoken ways to affirm that they know what they're doing, who they are, and how things go.
Yeah. And if you have a dom that's trying to force you to submit and you don't want to submit and they don't take no for an answer, yeet them. If it's in person, like kick the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Take some direct action.
Trust your gut. If anyone ever puts you in a situation that you feel is wrong for you and doesn't make adjustments if they're addressed, run.
Yeah.
Don't look back. Trust yourself. If it feels wrong for you, it's wrong for you.
I am able to honestly say, like, I know all the ins and outs of being a dom, but I'm much more of a top than a dom. That's just my whole thing. I don't focus so much on the power dynamic stuff. I prefer the doing the things. That's my favorite part. It's not the having the control. I don't care who is in control. Nobody has to be in control. We can be equals. But if the top aspect of it calls for that, then I can absolutely take on that role.
I tend to be the opposite. Like I tend to go for like the mommy dom stuff. So like I'll tell someone exactly what I want them to do, and then I'll just let them do the thing I've told them to do, and like give them praise or degradation or whatever we talk about ahead of time while they're doing it. Or like with specific partners, if they want me to take top, then that also becomes, or that kind of turns into like feral top a little bit, where you get, if there's space to run, you get the primal with the chase. It doesn't ever get into CNC, but there is like restraint. A real common thing for me is to what I'll call mounting with my partners, where like I'll put them on their back, kind of forcefully with their consent, and then they just open their mouth and I use it till I'm done. Or they tap out, obviously.
Sounds like a fun time.
It is. But like most of what I do is a lot gentler than that. It's right. the almost motherly kind of soft dom. I
got you. And that's where I like to balance myself in that arena. Is I'm not. I mean, I will absolutely do impact play. I mean, people have seen me out at these events and stuff, and I have no problem giving a solid thud if I need to. But
can verify.
My preference is to just be in the moment and enjoy things. But if that's how you enjoy things, by all means, I guess it would be a service top, if that makes sense.
That is exactly the word for what you're describing.
Yeah. Look out for it. Anybody got any 101 closing thoughts to go with?
When it comes to getting started with anything, do your research and look into yourself. To me, it makes more sense to look into yourself before you talk about it with somebody else. It's easier to communicate what you're curious about, what you want to try, if you've already thought about it yourself. and nothing with humans involved can ever be completely safe. Humans are fallible. But the more you know about something, the more precautions you can take to make sure things are as safe as they can be.
Absolutely. Princess, any closing thoughts from you?
I would like to invite you to my Juniper Gen link tree to check out all of my resources. I've got a lot of podcasts that have a lot of insight and knowledge for you guys to consume. I have a few little quizzes that might be fun to take that will help educate you on some things. I think we have a favorite book list in there. I have the junipergen.com right up top where you can go find some of these toys and support your favorite craft tour. And I've thoroughly enjoyed this munch. I appreciate all of you for being here.
If you go to Juniper Gen, use my code.
You can say it louder. What's your code?
Skin deep.
I think I've got it set up now to the junipergen.com/skindeep. Will get you an automatic discount, and then
It'll automatically put it in.
if you're an affiliate, then you get a cutback. I think it's 7% off of that, or you get 7% off the sale and all that stuff. So yeah, there's all kind of fun things to learn and do. For me, closing thoughts, definitely be willing to explore and learn more about yourself. Like Alice said earlier, things you liked last year, you may not like this year. Things that sounded gross last year may sound fun this year. But always be willing to grow. And that's the biggest thing, is develop to be more authentic. Alice?
Don't be afraid to cut things off if they stop being a fit for you. Like if you're exploring by yourself or with someone else and you go, hey, this doesn't really work for me anymore, find something else. The point of play is to have fun.
Sounds good. Well,
We didn't talk about food play today, but
I would not consider food play a 101.
Oh no.
are you sure though? Okay.
There's so much that
That's
goes
like-
into doing food play safely.
Yes.
Because you got orifices and other
Anyway,
fun
that's a-
things.
That's a whole nother
Anyways.
box to unwrap, and we've already been live for 2 hours.
I was going to say that last year we required 7 pumps. This year it's 8 pumps of pumping and spice. So
I finally get
be
8.
willing to put in an extra pump to make it taste good.
I can finally get 8 pumps, y'all. One at a time. We're getting closer. So next week, next Monday is the 25th, the day before my birthday. Feel free to send all your nudies to my inbox. Those great birthday presents, they don't cost anything. But we'll be talking about power dynamics, so we'll get a little deeper dive into how that stuff works. So I'm looking forward to that.
So, side note here, Mr. did not specify, so he just consented to dick pics, y'all.
Fucking nudies. Let's go. Nudies are nudies. I never specify. Prefer the boobs, but nudies are nudies. Whatever.
Mister, what about a nude that has both?
That's better. Honestly, like the penis aspect doesn't like appeal to me, but it's the act of it. I guess all. Sure, fuck it, whatever, all of it, all the things. Just no hairy butthole pictures. That's where I draw the line.
But if they're not hairy, it's okay.
Whatever. Just fucking surprise me. Happy birthday. All right, see you all next week. I'm gonna hit this button and then it's gonna struggle to take us off air. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Love you. Thank you for being here.
This and I wanna make it very fucking clear. Stop me, bitches. I'm not going nowhere. Never.